Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door takes the established formula from Paper Mario on the N64 and in my eyes near perfects it. This game represents what could be considered the pinnacle of the hybrid action turn-based combat system, a concept that originated with Super Mario RPG on the SNES and has evolved throughout the various Mario RPG sub-series. In my opinion, The Thousand Year Door is undeniably the most charming and diverse adventure within the Paper Mario collection, with the original installment coming in at a very close second for me. The Thousand Year Door is the latest game in Nintendo's vast lineup of classic hits that will receive a remake and release on the Nintendo Switch. Overall, the game looks incredible, largely due to its original paper and cardboard art design, which has held up remarkably well. It is very evident that there has been a major graphical enhancement in this full-blown remake. It looks amazing on the Nintendo Switch hardware. The remake also appears to be impressively faithful to the original game. The trailer is filled with iconic moments that I remember from my time playing it all the way back on the GameCube in 2004. And after spending hours meticulously analysing the trailer, I can now confidently confirm that this is definitely the case. Although the remake remains extremely faithful, there are some noteworthy changes. To celebrate all these differences, I've decided to delve into the analysis and comparison series to thoroughly examine the official trailer and highlight all the changes it has undergone. Before we dive into a frame-by-frame analysis, I'd like to clarify that I won't be documenting every single texture and graphical update. The remake has adopted a 16:9 aspect ratio to accommodate modern-day televisions and provide a more cinematic experience. In addition, everything appears to be genuinely a lot more crispier in the remake, featuring improved textures and richer colors. Notably, the character models for both characters and the environments have a much more pronounced paper-like appearance in the remake compared to the original. For a more organized viewing experience, you can make use of the provided timestamps below. Let's begin by discussing the general changes before we delve into a shot-by-shot examination of the entire trailer. To begin, in contrast to the original Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on the GameCube, one notable change in the remake is the introduction of unique dialogue sound effects for all the characters. This means that when characters engage in conversation, it now sounds like their voice clips are actually being played. This is instead of the generic text noise used in the original. Overall, really enhancing the immersion and the character interaction in the game. The remake has also expanded the use of backsprites for certain characters. This was a feature that was previously limited to Mario and Peach in the original game. Now party members Professor Frankly and Bowser have all been seen to have backsprites. This alteration not only affects cutscenes, but also in-game movements, really contributing to a heightened sense of realism within the game. Speaking of realism, the remake has also introduced a significant enhancement to character expressions. Party members in particular exhibit a wider range of reactions and are no longer static. This includes numerous new animations that weren't present in the original game. The improvements in character expressiveness are not limited to your party members alone. Throughout the trailer, it is evident that NPCs are also much more expressive, with examples such as Koopy Koo displaying a sad face and passengers on the Excess Express train really showing some signs of panic. Additionally, a notable expansion is the inclusion of translations for the game into Chinese, Dutch, and Korean, which were not available in the original release. Now, let's delve into the trailer itself. First and foremost, the storybook segment in the trailer appears absolutely stunning. It is now presented from a perspective that allows for a more 3D view, really showcasing the thickness of this book in a much more immersive way. The surrounding objects in this segment have also been modified, with closed letter envelopes in the bottom left corner and a much more identifiable blue book at the top right. This contrasts with the original's open letter and what appears to be a flatter blue book in the top right hand corner. There also appears to now be a lamp at the top left corner as well. While the trailer doesn't provide a glimpse inside the book, it is reasonable to assume that the contents have been faithfully recreated to maintain the essence of the original. The opening scene in the trailer provides a captivating look at the game's enhanced visuals. It offers a significantly wider shot of Mario and Luigi's house, allowing players to take in more details, such as the iconic warp pipe from the original Paper Mario. The rolling hills in the background are much more clearer and more defined now, adding to the picturesque scenery. Moreover, the trailer grants us a glimpse of the Luigi segment of the house as Paracari from the original makes a delightful entrance. The trees and bushes here and throughout the trailer also appear to have more layers on the leaves now compared to the original being flat. The sun rays are also much more visible this time around, and this scene is just capped off by the wind blowing through the tree leaves. But I did notice there is no place to put the mail now, as the mailbox opening is kind of gone. I'm sure it's just around the other side. Inside Mario's house, most of the details remain identical, and the overall design continues to look impressive. However, there is a few significant changes that is worth noting. Firstly, the addition of a photograph featuring all of Mario's partners from the original game is now present. This photograph was also included in Super Paper Mario, along with the Thousand Year Door's partners as well. Additionally, the map inside the house has also been replaced with the world map from Paper Mario on the N64. Perhaps one of the most exciting enhancements of this trailer is actually the opening scene's music. This is a direct callback to Paper Mario on the N64. This music was not present in the original game, and it still might only be just limited to the trailer, but I really do hope it's included in some way. Also, I know I said I wouldn't talk about the graphics, but the shiny reflection off the floor here is super cool. The next scene in the trailer offers our first official look at Rogueport, and it's super evident that this scene has undergone some significant changes. One of the most noticeable graphic changes though is the absence of the letter at the bottom of the screen. In the original game, players could see the letter as Mario read it, but in the remake, this scene now presents only the text at the top of the screen and gets rid of the letter entirely. We also get to see the water, which is very reminiscent of the Origami Kings. This is a good thing, as that game looked visually nice, aside from those stinking white borders around the characters. In the next shot, we get a proper look at Rogueport, and it is remarkable how closely it resembles the original with its familiar layout. One notable change is on the bow, which now features steam coming from the bow as it sails off, accompanied by the usual splashes and water effects when it moves. Additionally, the save block in this shot in the game is now framed with a black border, which not only looks fantastic, but it also draws attention to its significance. If we look a little further into the distance, we can now see that the Papacha's eye patch now always appears to be over their left eye, where in the original, it would always appear on the eye closest to the camera. Rogueport also looks a lot more dirtier now, and I really like how they changed the chains along the water. We are then introduced to the one and only Goombella, Mario's first partner in the Thousand Year Door. The main town square of Rogueport still retains its same layout. One change is to do with the cutscene taking place with the gangster Piantas and the Robo NPCs walking in the background. They are just going a little bit earlier than before. Additionally, a sheet of paper flying around in the cutscene can be seen, really emphasizing those new wind effects. A text change is also notable here from Goombella. In the original, she was just a student at the university, where now she is a junior at the uni. The next scene in Petal Meadows is identical, just with a lot more added details such as trees on the rolling hills in the background, and we also get to see Goombella jump with her brand new animations ascending and descending. The grey pipe leading to Petal Meadows now is also resting on a grassy platform. Nice. Petalburg also looks roughly the same. However, the NPCs are placed differently in this version, with the Koopa Troopa now on the left side of town rather than the right. There also appears to be a few NPCs missing. I would say that this could just be for the trailer though, or they've just simply moved. Another change is observed in the scene with Goombella and Professor Frankly discussing the Thousand Year Door. In the Nintendo Switch version, Professor Frankly delivers the line, "To find the treasure of yours, take the 7 crystal stars to the Thousand Year Door." Where in the original on the GameCube, this is being stated by Goombella. Furthermore, the lighting in this room appears much darker in the Switch version, really creating a more atmospheric and dramatic effect. In the Thousand Year Door scene where Mario is placing the map to the sky, the overall composition may appear similar, but there are some notable enhancements in the remake. One significant improvement is the way the blue colors from the flooring are much more prominent. The map also now features more stars around it in the cutscene and features a rainbow outline, versus the original that just glows with a few stars. We can also now see in the environment that the trampoline has changed in size, but we'll come back to that a little bit later as we get a better look at it. The camera also appears to pan around much faster in this new version, but that could just be for the trailer only. We also can't see the original safe spot in this scene either. Now we get to see the amazing Boggly Woods in HD for the very first time. One of the standout features from this trailer is the apparent light reflection on the floor, which just adds to the overall visual appeal and the realism of this environment. The flooring here also seems to have a lighter pastel color with some additional subtle colors blended in. The same can be said with the stained glass painting segment too. These look incredible. The first look at Hooktail's castle is just as epic as I remember it from being a kid. As Mario ascends the stairs is absolutely striking. The addition of being able to see the rolling hills from below just adds a lot more depth and perspective to the shot. The biggest change from this scene though is the fact that there are now bars on the windows, which makes a lot of sense being in a castle. Next up, we get our first introduction to Glitzville, and this remake is indeed a sight to behold. And there's even an exciting addition that's sure to delight all fans. This being a purple toad who appears to be a martial artist. It's honestly making me think we might see a few new NPCs in the remake, or maybe even some more new additions to this game as well. I guess time will tell. Furthermore, the attention to detail in the background is impressive. The signs are now LED lit and feature little lights that mimic a building's appearance, just creating a more vibrant and dynamic urban atmosphere in Glitzville. The updated animations of the stairs folding in the remake is also really nice to see, and the details continue with the glass of the fresh juice shop now being see-through, and the flashing lights on the pink signs really make this place feel alive. The trampolines and treasure chests have also seen a few changes. The trampolines are much smaller this time around, and the treasure chests appear from a top-down view. Additionally, there is also a star piece that can be seen in the background, but it doesn't appear to be flickering this time around. The next shot, we are back in the alleys of Rogueport. They have now included a sign that displays an icon with tacked papers above the door to the Trouble Center building. There is also a set of easily visible footprints in Eastern Rogueport that leads into a hidden alleyway. And here we get to see our very first transformation being the paper plane scene from Hooktail's castle. The only notable difference in this version is that the glowing effect on the sign where Mario stands on it is a lot more stronger. Next up, we get to see one of Mario's partners being Flurry blowing a kiss. Unlike the original where the roses remain static, in the remake the roses move to reveal more of the background. And we also get to see the lighting stand out with the puny section too. Perhaps it's indicating that there's something to do here. The shot with Coots begging to come with Mario to fight Hooktail also has a butterfly in the background now. And of course, the shot of inside Hooktail's castle just looks pure amazing, especially without lighting. There also appears to be a green circle under Coots when using his ability now. It's a small detail in the Glitzville fighting locker room, but I love how the Game Boy now appears to be at a scale, avoiding that squished appearance seen in the original. As for Yoshi flying across the buildings in Rogueport, it seems almost identical, with just a few minor variations, such as the placement of missing tiles on the roofs. The same can be seen in the next scene with the grass. There is a noticeable improvement in the visual quality here. The grass appears to be much more vibrant and has a sense of growth since the last visit. The blue objects also seem to have varying sizes, adding just a lot more diversity to the environment. Speaking of this scene, we actually get our first look at the battle scene. Before the battle even takes place, Goomba shows off a new animation where he rears his head at Mario before running over to fight him. And of course, Mario shows off his brand new fighting stance. Once the battle starts in the original, the curtain will roll up and the trees, fence and props on stage would all pop up at once. This time around, they now fold up, half unfolded, and then proceed to fold out at different times, creating a much more realistic look. There's also speakers in the corners now too. The spectators also now rush in from the sides as they're running over their seats like in the original. The HUD also looks a little bit different in the Switch version. The main point of difference is Mario's partner HP is now on the right, rather than below in the original. There is also a plus button icon to tattle check. When Mario is blocking now, it also features text of Super Guard rather than Great in the original. We also know that bingos are still in the game, as the roulette in the top right signals it. The other battle stage environments have also been slightly altered. They just look so much more alive in 3D this time around. Gameplay wise, it all looks to be very similar. Just the timing of enemy attacks may prove to be a little bit different this time around. The Bowser Castle scene in the remake is indeed impressive, and the subsequent scene with Bowser and Cammy looks epic. I really like how we can see out the window now, and how the scene is extremely dark and that Bowser's picture is so epic hanging up there. The only real big change from this scene though is the alteration of the text from Airhead in the original to now Lunkhead. We also got to see those epic 2D segments with Bowser. The only real big change here is when Bowser has a star now, there is a big rainbow cycling effect around him. One of my favourite scenes from this trailer is definitely when Mario and the partners are travelling to Glitzville in the blimp. This scene now features all of Mario's partners, which is a change from the original. Additionally, the area where the black chest face resides is now a fully 3D environment, rather than a static background. When Mario opens the chest now, this remake shows him getting struck by lightning, whereas the original, it only had a white flash on the screen when Mario was cursed. It also appears that the item shop has now also slightly changed. For starters, there are now 2 toads in the shop rather than just 1. The items are the same and the prices also remain the same as well. The scene in the Rogueport Town Square also confirms that the noose is back. Plus, it now even swells in the wind. I really love the scene with all the toads where we can see the wall is much more gold and the chandelier appears much larger and more grander. We also get to see more of those expressions with the characters on the kitchen mystery on the Excess Express. It also appears that Rock Hawk actually has a sold out venue this time around, with a lot more NPCs in the crowd. And the crystal star attached to his chain is a lot more bigger. In the next Bogglywood scene, we can also see that the heart has now been changed from gold to now red. Speaking of color changes, Magnus von Grapple also looks to be a lot more purple rather than the pink from the original this time around. I also have to briefly touch on the scene with Hooktail, as it is so epic this time around. The entire environment just looks so much more 3D, especially with the sun shining in. The final part of this trailer showcased the Peach segment, which remains almost identical, just so much more better this time around. The only real big change in this scene is the button of tech going from blue to now red. But if I continue to gasp at all the graphics, I'll literally be here for days. The only other change that I do want to mention is that I really like the new logo for this game. It looks great, and apparently it's more based on the Japanese logo of the original. But that is all the changes that I was able to spot in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door's new trailer. I still can't believe I'm saying those words literally a week on from when the trailer came out. I can't wait to continue covering this game on the channel, and of course, if I did miss any changes, please let me know down in the comment section below, along with how excited you are for this game. I also can't wait to hear all that new music in this game as well. It is going to be absolutely epic. If you enjoyed the video, it'd be much appreciated if you could leave a like and subscribe.
Thank you!
It honestly helps out the channel a lot. And lastly, a massive shout out goes to all of our members. I genuinely appreciate it so much, and you motivate me beyond belief. Until next time, take care and goodbye.